What is the information overload doing to our brains? Imagine if you lived a few hundred years ago. News traveled at the speed of ships, horses, and people running. And to get information, you might walk to the town square, listen to a public speaker, or read a book. Let's fast forward to today. We are now in the age of information overload. Every scroll, swipe, headline, notification, email, message is competing for your attention every second of the day. This is thanks to the attention economy, where big tech companies are using your attention as a commodity that can be monetized. The more you scroll, the richer big tech gets. To be clear though, sometimes information is genuinely helpful. But information overload is when the amount of information that you're being exposed to exceeds your ability to process it. In this video, we're going to explore every way that this information overload is harming your brain. And we're also going to talk about the things that you can do to help protect your brain from this overload. Chapter 1: How you're being manipulated. First, let's look at some of the things that big tech does to manipulate you into spending more time on your screen. First of all, bottomless scrolling. Bottomless scrolling means that there is no natural stopping point. There's no signal to stop. Without this signal, your brain finds it harder to disengage, so you end up scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Personalization. Algorithms constantly learn what captures your attention, what you pause on, what you rewatch, or what you react to, and then they feed you more of it. The content feels relevant to you, so you don't have to work as hard to find something you'll like. Dopamine hits. Fast-paced content delivers frequent bursts of novelty and reward. A funny video, a like, a surprising post. These unpredictable rewards train the brain to keep checking, not because the content is always good, but because it might be. This is based on a psychological principle called variable ratio reinforcement schedule, which is also used by pokies machines. Basically, there might be a reward. And this uncertainty about when the next reward will be means that this behavior is more likely to be lasting. Social validation. Likes, comments, views, and other notifications turn social interaction into a score. Your brain treats this feedback as information about social belonging, making you more likely to check repeatedly for reassurance or approval. Lastly, FOMO. Platforms emphasize what's trending, disappearing, or happening right now. This taps into the fear of missing out, so you check not out of interest, but because you don't want to feel left behind. Chapter 2: Brain rot. You may have already experienced brain rot in some way. While not a scientific term, brain rot can refer to mental fog, a shorter attention span, difficulty memorizing new information, lower tolerance for boredom, irritability, and less patience when thinking about complex topics. Can information overload cause brain rot? According to the latest research, the answer may be yes. Research has shown that digital multitaskers are more likely to be distracted by irrelevant information, have a reduced ability to sustain their attention, have worse working memory capacity, and they find it more difficult retrieving relevant information from long-term memory. In other words, if you're one of those people who likes listening to a podcast while working and while regularly checking your phone, you are cognitively better off turning off the podcast, putting away your phone, and simply focusing on the task that needs to be done. Let's take a closer look at attention span. What is a good attention span anyway? A good attention span means being able to complete tasks without being distracted or without relying on dopamine hits to stay focused. This means that watching TikToks for 6 hours straight does not count as a good attention span. But a kid who can get all of his homework done without being distracted by his phone or by whatever else might seem exciting, that is an example of a good attention span. Now, it's pretty clear from the research that people who spend a lot of time watching short videos tend to have a shorter attention span. This is a study that looked at screen time in children. Does screen time cause attention problems in children? Or is it the case that children who have attention problems are more likely to be drawn towards fast-paced digital content? The answer is that it may be a vicious cycle. Excessive screen time increases the risk of attention problems later on, and children with attention problems are more likely to be attracted to fast-paced digital content. Which means that sometimes the excessive screen time happens first, then the attention problems start to appear, and then these attention problems get worse over time as the child becomes more and more addicted to screen time. If our attention spans are getting shorter, what are the big picture consequences of this? First of all, our relationships are likely to suffer. If you are always on your phone, this can train your brain to expect constant novelty and stimulation. And so when you do put the phone down and you try to spend time with family and friends, you might find yourself feeling a bit bored and understimulated, maybe even slightly agitated. The other worrying consequence is that shorter attention spans make it more difficult for us to think deeply and critically about real-world topics. What we've already seen, and what I think we'll see a lot more of in the future, is the rise of outrage culture. Think of those people who watch a short video and they get outraged and they don't even try to think about the topic any more deeply than that. This may be why, over time, we have become more and more outraged and politically polarized. Chapter 3, Mood. The emotional systems of our brains were never designed for constant, high-volume input. Do you ever feel flat, irritable, or weirdly anxious for no reason? Information overload may be the reason why. First of all, information overload can increase your baseline levels of stress and anxiety. Sometimes even just notifications and emails can make us feel like we have to do something, and if we don't do it, then there's the threat of missing out. Second, social comparison. When you're constantly being updated on social media about how everyone else seems to be doing great in life, it's easy to feel that drop in self-esteem. You start to feel unsatisfied with yourself and your life, and this might lead to you feeling anxious or depressed. Third, as I mentioned earlier, fast-paced content can train your brain to expect constant dopamine hits. Over time, you might start to notice that boredom feels uncomfortable and irritating, and also that you are starting to crave more and more digital stimulation. But this can mean less quality time spent with family and friends, which means that over time, you might start to feel lonelier and lonelier. Finally, humans are naturally biased towards negative information. This is because our brains evolved to prioritize negative events, such as danger, conflict, and immoral behavior. So, what does this mean in the digital world? It means that negative information is more effective at capturing your attention, and you're also more likely to remember this negative information. But here's the thing. When you repeatedly watch these videos on how the world is about to end, how you're being lied to, how outraged you should feel, over time you might start to feel anxious and depressed, that the world is a dark and dangerous place and there is nothing you can do about it. Speaking of which, what can you do about it? Chapter 4, What to do to protect your brain. First, set digital limits, such as limiting your notifications or screen time. Consider turning certain notifications off, unsubscribing from emails, or keeping your phone on silent. I personally keep my phone on silent throughout the day, and I also use this phone cover that helps keep my screen hidden, so that I'm less likely to get distracted by notifications. Second, prioritize information. Try to focus on content that's relevant to your goals and interests. Do you really need to know what someone's brunch looks like, or this AI-generated video on an overweight person falling off a cliff? Probably not. Third, avoid digital multitasking. You might feel that you're more productive because you're getting other things done while you're working, but it's pretty clear from research that all you're doing is taking longer to get the work done, and you're also more likely to make mistakes. Finally, take breaks, especially the kind of breaks that allow you to get some quiet time, such as going for walks or practicing mindfulness. You know how there are videos of elderly people talking about their big regrets in life? Well, sometimes I wonder if the elderly people of the future will simply say that they regret spending so much time on their screens. What do you guys think? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below.